Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is Excellence, and today is August 8th, 2025. We're here to go over the rest of the patch notes from the major content drop we received yesterday in Black Desert Console. If you missed any of the updates from the other video, I will include a link of the video in the description. I highly recommend checking it out, as that video goes over the LOML2 updates, new bosses, new mobs, and new weapons. Today, we are going to be going over the damage calculation rework, combat system overhaul, and the events that are now active. If you have any questions or I missed something, please let me know in the comment section below. And if this video helps you out, consider liking it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the patch notes. We're going to start off with the combat system overhaul. This is pretty much the bread and butter of what's going on throughout this whole patch itself, and I'm going to try to break it down into multiple levels. We're going to start off with the fact that all classes will be receiving a base stat increase for AP, DP, and special attack damage. Along with that, this part here, how special attack damage actually works when it is individual special attack damage. And by individual, I mean critical hit damage, back attack damage, down attack damage. Those individual special attack damages will not stack when it comes to your regular skill and skill add-ons. So let's say you have a skill that applies 10% crit damage for 10 seconds. It does not stack with the 5% crit damage add-on. It will not make 15%. However, that 10% is just going to apply over top of the 5%. When you do have an all special attack damage buff, that does stack with individual special attacks such as crit damage, back attack damage, or once again down attack damage. And lastly, if you use back attack damage, crit damage, and knockdown damage, they will apply separately. A lot of confusing things when it goes over there, not really hard to grasp, just that you're not going to be super buffing things like crit damage to 50%. Just know that. This next part states that resistance has been completely removed from PvP. Crystals, skills, and lightstones have been adjusted to balance these changes. Grapple has been adjusted for all classes. Melee grapples now have a 0.3 second startup animation, and range grapples now have a 0.4 startup animation. All grapple skills will now have a visual effect applied to them in all performance settings to identify all grapple skills. Rotation grappling is now limited to the first 0.3 seconds. However, some skills, such as Hashashin's and Nova's grapples, will not be able to rotate. Finally, all failed grapples will be super armored for the following 0.4 seconds, after which other actions can be performed. Just as a side note here, this is going to be from the Global Lab patch notes, July 18th, 2025. This had taken place, and then subsequently, this has taken place on PC from July 23rd, 2025, I want to say. This is going to be the mouse movement changes that occurred. PA has decided to change that due to the fact that this has caused advantages gained for a select few number of players, as well as desync caused when this occurs. Mouse movement is when you change the direct trajectory of your character while in the middle of a skill. So now you're going to find that a lot of skills do not allow you to move with a fluidity. For me as a Nova player, I've noticed that some of her movement in Twisted Orbit has been streamlined into a straight line. I've kind of tested it with Hash as well, and it seems to be a little bit more rigid. I'm not sure if I'm just being a little bit more paranoid. Like I said, it shouldn't affect us too much on console. It does look like we are receiving a little bit of a trickle-down effect from some of the changes that they received through Global Labs and PC. Now, getting back to the patch notes. Next thing we have is the summon damage formula has been reworked. Summons now have the characteristics of the special attack damage that is applied. Monster damage reduction no longer applies to summons in PvP. Buffs now increase summon damage. So example, if you're at Gyfin Razia, the color buffs that you receive not only for yourself to kill each monster faster will now be applied to your summons. Summons will no longer receive a buff at the nighttime. They reduce the damage from all summons by 36.5%, except the skills that use BSR. This is for balance purposes. Guys, this next part I've gone over about 5 times, and it's still going to be just a little bit confusing because one part is just slightly going to negate the next part. But this is going to be the accuracy rate, and the evasion rates have been removed. Starting with the bullet points here, we have merged accuracy and accuracy rate. They have also merged evasion and evasion rate. This exchange is every 1% of either accuracy rate or evasion rate has been converted into 4 points of either accuracy or evasion respectively. Along with the accuracy rate changes, they have now removed all accuracy from all character skills and deleted all accuracy buff effects gained when using skills. These will now be applied in Infinite Mastery. As you level that up, you will gain 18 accuracy per skill for a grand total of 108 accuracy on your character. This is going to actually be a broad blanket change for every character, so through Infinite Mastery every character will have 108 accuracy. Next, we're going to find the actual changes to each specific class when it comes to the damage calculation rework, the summon damage change, and when it comes down to the resistance changes. When you get the chance, I actually recommend coming into the patch notes yourself, looking them over and seeing what is specifically changed in your class. So a majority of the changes that were applied beforehand were a lot to do with PvE. We are now going to continue on with the majority of the PvP changes that they have made when it comes to the damage calculation rework. Damage ratios for all classes have been adjusted to 89.29% so that all classes are balanced at their base damage ratios. Here's the graph showing the damage increase for each class. And keep this in mind, this is only related to PvP. Classes for PvP have also been split into 3 different classifications: Vanguard, Skirmisher, and Pulverizer. Each classification will do increased damage to each other in a sort of rock, paper, scissors fashion. Vanguard will deal 5% increased damage to Pulverizers, Skirmishers will now do 5% increased damage to Vanguards, and Pulverizers will do 5% increased damage to Skirmishers. Here are the new groupings for each classification on the screen now, and if you get a chance, I recommend checking out each class specifically to know which one's going to do more damage to you or which one you will apply more damage to. Moving on to sheet AP changes and overall AP changes. When your displayed AP now reaches 310 or higher, you'll gain 8 extra AP against monsters for each additional AP that is over. Because of this change, most monster zones have increased in stats required, however, player stats have increased respectively. Now, this graph that we're looking at is just related to some of the weapons that have changed due to this displayed AP change going on. Here you'll see the Kudum subweapon has changed, the Black Star subweapon, Godite subweapon, and the Tavala subweapons with the additional monster damage that they initially had on them has in fact increased. Now these next set of patch notes, we're about halfway through, and honestly these are all the changes that are going to be applied when it comes to resistance being removed, ignore resistance being removed, and some of the AP and damage calculation rework. So I'm going to go over them really quickly, give you some examples, and then we'll move on to the next subject. So now what we're seeing here with resistance, the majority of resistance and ignore resistance being removed from the game, you'll find that a lot of the items have been changed or removed. You'll find things like Elkers and Rosar's set effect have had accuracy added to them. And then you'll find things like Kudum's subweapon, Kudum's lamp, have had 10% resistance added to them. Now, I just want to remind you guys that this 10% resistance, once again, is for PvE only, as there are still mobs out there that can CC you, such as Crypt of Resting Thoughts, and you are still able to increase your resistances to stop them from stunning you. Here are going to be some of the items that have had ignore resistance removed from them, and here are some of the items that have been completely removed due to resistance and ignore resistance. Any items removed during this patch have been compensated for with their equivalent silver value. You can find mail explaining the change and the total amount of silver added to your account. Next is going to be ship damage adjustments. Ship damage has been adjusted to about 45 to 55%. This will only apply when in combat with other ships, and sea monster damage will stay the same. You can find the specific damage reduction listed on the item itself related to the ship. Scrolling on, we're going to find the changes to the recommended AP for all zones, most notable being Dokubi Forest and Darkseeker's Retreat. And here are all the corresponding changes to the AP cap at all zones. These new AP caps are now more important than ever, as now only 5% of any AP above the limit will count towards your attack. This is to encourage players to progress in grind zones as their character progresses in gear. So far, players have noticed mobs being tankier, most notably at Gyfins and Honglum. Several spots have been updated within the last week, so we'll just have to keep our ears to the ground for any additional changes, as once again I have heard that Global Labs has already started their PvE adjustments. Horse damage is now fixed and will no longer scale off a character attack power. Agris Fever has been reworked so that instead of having Agris at specific spots, every zone has been rebalanced to use Agris Fever optimally. Here we will have a list of the changes to the Agris consumption. Worth to save this patch note itself just for the Agris consumption, so you can kind of min-max which zone is going to be best for you as you continue your journey through Black Desert. Next, we're going to have the adjustments to each monster zone along with the damage rework. As you can see, a lot of mobs have had their percentage increase when it comes to either AP, DP, or HP. So this is that tankiness that some are feeling. But I do know this Honglum base has been adjusted from when it was out on Global Labs. This was released on Global Labs. This was a lot tankier, and they have adjusted it since. So we'll have to keep our ears to the ground and see if any more information comes out. And lastly, I do want to let everybody know that Tunkuda has been changed to a solo grind zone. It is no longer a two-man party grind zone. This does reduce some of the partying that we have going on, but they said Tunkuda or Turos has not been used that much, and a lot of people do want their Flame of Despair, so go ahead and check your monster zone info, see the requirements to get out there, and if you're missing a flame or if you're missing a Fallen God armor, go ahead and get farming for that. Next, we're going to dive into the Sea Palace, and this is a whole event of itself. We're going to just give you a little bit of a rundown, a little bit of a simplified version, but as you get into Sea Palace, just know that it is a big opportunity for just content on the side, so that you're not just grinding a lot of the time. You're actually sitting there and enjoying the scenery and what Black Desert has to offer. There are two ways to get there, one from the Land of the Morning Light. I'm just going to sit here and show you the Velia way to get there, but we're going to dive right into what the Sea Palace is in the event that goes along with it. This area is located in the deep sea and can be accessed most commonly off the coast of Velia. To attain the ability to access this area, you'll need to complete a 2-minute side quest from the Black Spirit. The quest will be under your event tab and named the Morning Light Sea Palace. After running through the dialogue of the quest and moving over to the swirling sea, you'll be prompted to dive off the cliff. Once you do this, you'll be teleported to the Sea Palace and you can continue the quest in the area. Honestly, there are so many things in this place. There should be a separate guide for the event itself, and whenever I get the chance, I'll bring that to you. But there are a lot of quests, as you can see, that you can dive in there and start doing. Ultimately speaking, if you are into sea content, then this is something that you're going to want to get into. Afterwards, you will be able to fight Baby Vel. You'll just need to follow the questing in the event details here. Next, we're moving on to a very big change. The adventure log rewards have been overhauled. You'll be able to receive all your stat rewards from the Igor Bartali's adventure alone. Now, through the other adventure logs, you're going to be able to receive different things such as Valk's Cries, titles, and even item collection increased scrolls. As you can see on the screen, these are going to be the different rewards now that are going to be attained in each different adventure log. And you'll be able to see below, these are the changes to the Igor Bartali's adventure log so that you'll be able to attain all of the stats So as long as you get all 5 volumes done and each chapter done in the Igor Bartali's adventure log, you'll be able to catch up with all the hidden stats. Guys, here we have plenty of Undying changes from daily rewards to weekly rewards. Monster aggressions have been changed as well. Looking over the changes, it looks like you're going to receive a little bit less Seal of Undying, but you're going to receive a little bit more Crow's Black Jewel. Now, this is just a little bit confusing, as the weekly rewards were received 7 times a week before, but now they're only going to be received 1 time a week. Me, as a Pity of Undying player that's very novice, I haven't been receiving the rewards just as much, but personally speaking, this does look like a slight nerf. For somebody that does this content on the daily, if you don't mind reaching out to me and letting me know if this is a good change or a bad change, but right now it doesn't look like the best change. Guys, there have been also a lot of quest prerequisite changes and UI changes and general quality of life changes. I didn't mention earlier, but there has been a Patrigio's bag replacement for Murph's carry-on bag. You'll start noticing that, and this is just for outfit replacement for a 1-for-1 quick swap whenever you want to enjoy a different outfit that you have. And below, you're going to be able to find the actual quest changes that are going to be simplified, some for Shakatus. Then we also have some that are for Marnies. Very streamlined, very get in here and start your adventure now. This is a W for Pearl Abyss in my eyes. And Black Desert Console for sure. Alrighty. Guys, that goes over the majority of the changes when it comes to the damage calculation rework. We're going to go ahead and jump into the events themselves. Should be good to go for these 2 weeks. And first we'll go over the events that are no longer running. Secret Whispers of the Termian Beach, Sea Foam Shells and Treasures, Guild Fair events have all ended. The events also removed include the 1000% EXP and 100% drop rate hot time event, the Deadeye level up challenge, and the Adventurer's Seals. So pretty much that Heidel Ball event that we just had ended, and we will be going back to normal drop rate. We will be going back to normal EXP rate, and these are the events that are going to be replacing that. We will have the item copy and Caphras event until September 4th, 2025, which is the next major content drop, and you will find me covering that as well. You will be able to extract 100% of your Caphras for 1 silver at any blacksmith in any major town. And with this event, you'll be able to copy all of your gear from your main character to your tag character for only 1 Marnie's Unstable Fuel. If you're unsure about what the tag character is, how to copy your gear over, or how to use Marnie's Unstable Fuel, there is a perfectly written guide on the Black Desert website with this event. And the next event, as explained earlier, we have the Sea Palace event, in which you can get your bubbly diving suit, which is a permanent suit that allows you to swim a little bit faster. You will also get seals from some of these events as well, and you have quests down there that'll give you enhancement help kit. It'll give you some perfume of courage, deep sea perfumes, as well as title treasure chest box, things for sea content farers. You'll be able to fight Baby Vel, attain those events coins, and be able to spend them a little bit later. Here are going to be some of the items that are capable of being attained from the title treasure chest that is going on during this event. And here are some of the items that can be attained from the Baby Vel Roaring Bundle. So go ahead and dive into the Sea Palace, get questing, get all of your events up. You'll definitely find me there. Alrighty, guys, that about does it for these patch notes, guys. If I miss anything or things change on PC or Global Labs within the next couple of weeks, I'll be sure to address it in the pre-patch notes next Thursday, August 14th. If you have not already, go ahead and check out the first patch notes, including all of the Land of the Morning Light seal updates. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And if this video helped you, not like that, but go ahead and leave a like. Otherwise, I'll see you in Seoul, guys.